keep our eyes out for. Now, I'm not going to go through all of the candlesticks with you, but I am going to go through a few, and I'm going to give you just a little bit of a rundown as it relates to the type of candlesticks that we will be focusing on. So we have got 5 golden rules, so just basically keep it simple. Remember, it's just exchanging one currency for another. Just do what the charts say you must do. In other words, if the chart is moving up, then you want to buy, and if the charts are moving down, then you want to sell. Keep it very simple. You are not going to be right all the time, so accept that the fact that there's going to be losses, and remember the most important one, the patient trader will be richly rewarded. So what we're going to be focusing on today is basically candlesticks. So we're going to look at a few candlesticks that appears in the market, and we're going to do our best to understand how these candles form and what they mean. So essentially what we have over here, the first one, these are neutral candlesticks formations. In other words, these candlesticks doesn't indicate any reversal at all. In other words, if this candle over here or this candle over here forms on support or resistance, there is nothing that gives us a reason to believe that the market is going to reverse. These are just neutral candles. So the first one is the spinning top, and this is basically where your body is in the center. You have your tail over here and you have your wick over here. And the next one will be your doji, and this is very similar to the spinning top, has the same purpose. It doesn't tell us anything. It just looks like a plus sign, and this implies indecision. All of these candles implies indecision because they're not telling us whether it is moving up, nor do they tell us if it's moving down. Then we have the double doji over here, and here basically implies that a forceful move will follow a breakout from the current indecision. So this is not telling us what direction the breakout will be. It just tells us that whatever direction it's going to be forceful. Okay, and then we have these candles over here, the harami. These currencies also indicates, well, they say a decrease in momentum. Basically, they're still not telling us where the market is going to go. Okay, and then you have the long-legged doji candles. But the candles that we want to focus on today is the bullish candle formations, and then all the way over here, the bearish candlestick formations. Now, the first candlestick that forms over here is the hammer, and this hammer is this candlestick is most probably the most common reversal, so the most common bullish reversal pattern that you will find on the markets. And so if we can identify this hammer, then we put ourselves in a very strong position to make use of the information that we gather from this candle, because this candle actually not only tells us that the market is preparing itself to reverse, but it also tells us that there is an opportunity for an entry. Okay, so I want to just give you a little bit of a description of what this candle tells us. Remember, every candle has a story. Now, what I want you to notice, what makes this candle so unique, is the fact that it has a very long tail. You can see that the tail over here is significantly longer than the rest of the candle. And that tells me that what happens in this point over here, I'm going to have to jump over to the Forex charts. This is my 1-minute chart, and I want you to take note of how this candle is forming. Notice that when this candle moves down, let's say it's going to move down, then you'll see that there's a line that's going to form. So the further down it moves, if it does move down, we will see a bit of a line forming, and as it pulls up, so this moving down, so we see that that line was already there, but if it goes further down and it goes up, you're going to see the line, the lowest point of the candle. Okay, so this moving further up, and if it pulls down, you're going to see, so let it just pull down, but you'll see the bit of a line there. Okay, so that line was formed because that is where the market, the highest point that the market was at. And if it moves down, then you'll see that that's the lowest point that the market was at. And the top piece of the candle is called the wick, which is considered the highest point of the candle. And the lowest point of the candle is called the tail. And as a result of that, that is also very important information. And we rely a lot on that information when we're trying to decipher or discover specific market exhaustion. So I'm going to give this some time. I'm not sure when this thing is going to decide to give us a tail so that I can show you how the tail is formed. But essentially the tail will be formed just as this wick was formed over here. So just let's get back to these candles. Notice that tail over here is significantly, like I said, significantly longer and it makes up most of the body of this specific candle. And what this tail tells us is that that sellers actually pushed the market all the way down till this point of the year, and then buyers came and pushed it all the way back up over there. And why this is significant is because sellers was not able to close below this point of the year, which means that they became keyword exhausted. Now that's a very significant description of this tail. This tail signifies seller's exhaustion. And the reason it signifies seller's exhaustion is because this candlestick must form on support. If this candle does not form on support, it doesn't serve a purpose, nor does it serve a function. And as a result of this, if we see that we have a hammer forming on a level of support and there's multiple tails, it tells us that sellers has tried to break that support several times to no avail. And as a result of that, when a hammer does form, we see the market starting to set itself up to build momentum to the upside because sellers could not break the low. In other words, buyers continued, as the sellers pushed down, buyers came back and pushed it further up. And that same momentum that pushed this, that created this tail will carry over into the next candle. Okay, then we have the tweezer bottoms. Now the tweezer bottoms basically consists of more or less two hammers. And more so, tweezer bottoms are basically two very long wicks that is very close to or next to one another. Okay, and this also signifies a bullish indication. Both of these candles, color doesn't matter. Then we have the dragonfly doji. The dragonfly doji is the same as the hammer and the tweezer bottoms, except it doesn't have a body. Okay, therefore it's a dragonfly doji. It also signifies a turning point that indicates a bullish momentum. All three of these candles needs to be formed on support. Okay, then we have the bullish engulfing candle. This is where we have a bearish candle that is engulfed by a bigger and stronger bullish candle, and as a result of that, momentum continues to move further up. We have the piercing line as well, where it closes above where the bearish candle is formed, but the bullish candle comes and closes above 50% of this overall candle. Okay, then we have the morning star. The morning star is very similar to the piercing line, except it requires three candles to form. So the first candle is actually below the bullish candle, and the second candle actually closes above the 50% marker of the bullish candle. Then we have the inverted hammer, and this in and of itself also forms on support. So just to recap, the candles that I want you to always pay attention to and keep your eyes out for is the hammer, the tweezer bottoms, and the dragonfly doji. Also, the bullish engulf is fairly common, but I would highly suggest that if you're going to want to start understanding candlestick formation, start with these three because they are the most simple to understand and they are the most consistent and the most regular candles that you can find on support to give us bullish momentum. Then we come over here to our bearish candlestick formations. Now, this is exactly the opposite of our bullish candles. These candles, on the other hand, forms on resistance. Remember what we said? Value increases on support and value decreases on resistance. So we buy on support and we sell on resistance. These are indications or opportunities that you can take in terms of entry. In other words, if you see a shooting star, that means it is a signal to sell. If you see a hammer, it is a signal to buy. However, it is very important to note that you're not just going to buy based on the fact that there's a hammer on support. You're going to buy based on the fact that the overall market structure allows you to see that value is going to increase. The same is going to be said for a shooting star. Just because you see a shooting star or tweezer tops or a gravestone doji does not mean that you can sell. You need to sell if the market's trend is bearish. Okay, so you want to use these candlesticks as opportunities to get in a trade that you've already analyzed, and this is your signal to get in. This tells you when to enter. You're not just going to enter because it's moving up. You're going to enter when you see a hammer. You're not going to just enter because it's moving down. You're going to enter when you see a shooting star, tweezer tops, or gravestone doji. Okay, so with that being said, the shooting star has, on the other hand, a very long wick. Now, if we look over here, there we actually had a nice formation of a long tail. So here we have the market pushing up, and that gave us a bit of a wick, right? So if this comes down, we're going to see a little bit of a wick that forms. There we got the wick. And that wick tells me that buyers pushes the market all the way up, and then sellers comes to push it further down. And the same way that tails indicates as a signature of exhaustion for sellers, wicks is a signature of exhaustion for buyers, because buyers has pushed the market up, and then sellers came to push the market back down, resulting in the fact that now we have a sign of exhaustion on the part of the buyers, because buyers has tried to break the resistance, but sellers continue to pull down and allow the wick to form, thus showing us that we have sellers getting stronger and buyers are becoming more exhausted. Then we have the tweezer tops. Tweezer tops is basically, like I said, the exact opposite of tweezer bottoms. It is where you have two shooting stars or two candles with very long wicks forming next to or close to one another. Then we have our gravestone doji, which is basically a inverted dragonfly doji, and there's no body attached to this candle either. Then we have our bearish engulf. Unlike the bullish engulf, the candle that is being engulfed over here is a bullish candle, and it's being engulfed by a bigger and stronger bearish candle. This specific candle is most effective when it's on resistance, just as this candle over here is most effective when it's on support. It's very important to remember that. Then instead of having a piercing line, we have a dark cloud cover. Then we have the evening star instead of the morning star, and then we have the hanging man instead of the inverted hammer. So it is very important to understand how these candlesticks work together. So what we're going to do now that we've seen how the candlesticks are formed and we understand what the candlesticks are about, we are now going to pick up where we left off from the last session, and we're going to actually see what the market does and how we can make use of candlestick information with the analysis that we've put together. Okay, so what I want to do now is basically just continue from our session of last week and then pick it up from there. So notice that in the last session I said it is very important to take note of these higher highs and these higher lows. And the reason I'm saying is that higher highs and higher lows are qualities of a bull market. Okay, and here we see that the market has given us a bearish trend and has retraced, but the way that it has retraced is by making higher highs and higher lows until it retraced 61.8% of the overall bear trend. So essentially what we're going to be looking for now is the market to decrease in value with the expectancy of it to continue this trend. In other words, we have A, B, C, and C now is supposedly going to give us our next level of D. Let's see what happens to value when we press play. Now we can see that value begins to drop. We can actually see that value is now starting to drop. Now, just look at what happened over here. Value started to drop, and then we had this candle over here. I'll zoom in for you. And what does this candle look like? Let me zoom in a bit more. What does that candle look like? If we look again over here, that candle looks very similar to this candle over here, the dragonfly doji. Now, why this is a significant time is because I know that a dragonfly doji forms on a level of support. I also know that a dragonfly doji is a reversal candle. So I now need to see, is this market going to continue further down? Because essentially I found that the market has given me a dragonfly doji. Now bear in mind, every hour a new candle opens. So I have an opportunity to confirm, is this possibly a new trend that is forming as it is making higher lows and higher highs with a possible retracement to give us a possible extension. In other words, this being my new A, my new B, my new C, giving me my new D. I don't know. So let's have a look and find out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to erase that fib over there, and I'm going to remove this trend line over here. And I'm now going to start to focus on what is currently happening. So from here till here, I will see that as my new trend. I'll say this is my new trend because I can understand that the market has been making higher highs and higher lows. And as a result of this, this market also formed a reversal candlestick that looks like it could be on support, because if I take a line over here, the level that it has formed a support on is a level that the market has seen before as a support. So over there is a support, and here we have the market and support. And it looks like it's a fairly key level at 3,100, which is a very strong cent level. But remember, what we're trying to do is confirm if this is an opportunity to buy. So essentially, I'm going to now take my fib, and I see that's A, B over there. So I'll draw my fibbing from B to A. Bear in mind, I'm drawing it from a different platform, so mine may look a bit different to yours. Okay. Notice that the market has now broken 38.2. It has broken 50, but it has not broken 61.8. In fact, if anything, if I take this over here and I put it on 61.8, I can see that this level has been a key contributor to support, because over here the market never really broke it. The market tested, and now the market comes to test it. Remember, if the candle breaks right through, like here for example, this is a level, a 38.2, for which is also like we discovered before, that is a key level. So the market broke it solidly with a solid candle, but when it came here, the market tested, which tells me that sellers pushed the market down, but buyers came and pushed the market back up, forming this doji candle. So let's read what the doji does. This candle signifies a turning point. It occurs when the open and close price are the same, and the low is significantly longer than the open. The high and closing price hammer. So it is like a hammer. It has the same characteristics of a hammer. The difference is it just doesn't have a body. However, this does signal a reversal. So let's say that we have taken to this candle and we've seen an opportunity, because now we have the market giving us a new trend, retracing to my 61.8 fib on a fairly key level, showing us also signs of exhaustion, because here we have a wick, and we have a tail, and we have another tail, and this is signs of exhaustion. So let's see, what does the market do with this level of exhaustion? Number one, let's just add it up. We have a market making higher highs and higher lows. We have a market trending a new trend of bullish. We have a 61.8% retracement, and we actually have a higher low over here, which means that we could be setting up for the market to extend towards the point of D. So let's press play and find out, is the market actually going to break above this level and give us an extension, or is the market going to start rolling over and just continue making lower lows? So let's have a look and see. So you can see market stalling for some time. There we have a bit of a breakout. Now we're starting to build some serious momentum, and the market just continues to move further up. And we're stalling on this level over there. We're breaking down, and now we're starting to build some good momentum to the upside. So this is where the market currently is at right now. So essentially, we had a nice trend, a retracement, and now we had the market making a new high, looking at as an extension. So essentially, what we have is a primal opportunity to make use of not only support and resistance, trends and retracements, but we also now have the tools to confirm key levels, and we have the tools to confirm opportunity. Notice that every time the market has formed this, this is a shooting star that led us up to this point over here, and now we have this nice hammer that also contributed to that momentum. We have a shooting star there, and we have a shooting star here to possibly give us an opportunity to sell this market. Furthermore, this is where we're going to end today's session. We'll pick things up again in the next session, where we will be discussing not only reversal candlesticks, but looking at how reversal candlesticks can form complete reversal patterns. And this is going to be an exciting session, so I would encourage you to join us for the session. But for now, I do wish you well. I hope you all the best, and good luck with the trades moving forward, and I'll talk to you again. Keep well.